I suffered from acne into my 30s. I had tried everything from pills and creams to painful treatments, and nothing seemed to work. Then a friend told me about Skin Laundry. She'd been getting their laser facials and said they were effective and did not require any downtime. So I decided to try it. My nurse made a plan to stop my breakouts and correct the discoloration I had. It's truly changed my skin and helped me regain my confidence.
Skin Laundry develops a personalized plan to get results. You can try your first Skin Laundry laser facial, including a free skincare consultation for only $75. Visit skinlaundry.com to see real client results and book your first facial today.
Summer is almost here. Whether you're looking for a window AC or portable one that you can hide in your closet during winter, stay cool with HomeLabs. HomeLabs ACs are energy efficient, budget-friendly, low noise, and easy to install, with smart features controlled via an app or voice assistant. See what thousands of satisfied shoppers on Amazon already know. HomeLabs provides innovative solutions for any season. Get amazing offers with code IHEARTHOMELABS at homelabs.com. Welcome home.
You're listening to 100 Words or Less with Ray Harkins. Hello, you podcast people. Welcome to yet another episode where we talk to people who are involved in independent music, who care about it in a deep way, create it, play in it, tour worldwide with it, whatever it is, as long as it's connected to punk, hardcore, indie rock, emo. If this is your first time here, this is a live episode. So, there's a different flavor to this, but I am extremely excited to bring you this chat with two people who are involved in a burgeoning scene up in the Northern California area, is affectionately known as RBS, Real Bay Shit. But this was recorded live at the LDB Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. And the two people I had Josef from Sunami, the singer of Sunami, who are such an interesting band. I'll go on in a moment about them. And then I had Peter, the vocalist from Spy. Both of these bands are just absolutely crushing it right now. They are, drawing a lot of people at their shows. They're getting a lot of people engaged with punk and hardcore in a very real way. And they're doing it very DIY, which is incredible. And it's awesome to see that bands can exist in this digital world and, just kind of call their own shots. It's great. So I was excited to do this chat. And this is my second to last one of the live series at LDB Fest. But speaking of live podcasts, I'm actually going over to the United Kingdom to Outbreak Fest. If those of you that are over there, you might have been familiar with me doing that last year. But I'm working with the Outbreak team to be launching their own podcast. But I will be doing live podcasts. I'm actually in the process of setting all of them up right now. I think we'll have 15 or 16 different chats there throughout the weekend. And I'm extremely excited to go over there. So keep your ears to the ground in regards to that. But I'm excited to do that. Let's talk about the ways that you can support the show. First of all, you can always email the show at 100wordspodcast@gmail.com. Love to get that feedback from you. Or obviously you can follow along on social media at Instagram. And then there is a link in the show notes in regards to following along with the show on YouTube. I post all of these episodes on YouTube as well because people like to listen to podcasts there. So that's what I want to make sure to give the people what they want. And if you want to throw a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, I would appreciate it very much. Same thing can be said about Spotify, but just a rating. It will take you 30 seconds. It costs you $0. And it supports the show in a deep way. So I appreciate all that. But let's go to the live discussions. First up, you will hear Josef from Sunami. And we had a fun, lively chat. And he was, very engaged and excited to do it. And I was glad to have him there. And then I'll have a little break. And then we will throw it over to Peter from Spy. I'll obviously make sure to introduce him appropriately. But it's a twofer. It's a live one. It's a fun one. Let's go.
What I am doing is bringing you Josef from Sunami, so give it up for Josef. Yay.
Thank you.
I know it feels like we're going to do a press conference.
Dude,
where you're like,
straight up, I feel like I quit college because of this feeling.
And then I'm dragging you up here to be like, hey, dude, you can do this, right? Yeah. And you're like, no, can I just do mosh call-outs on a stage? Like, dude, that's way more comfortable.
Straight up.
Well, I appreciate you doing this. Usually I start things off with kind of my own personal entry point to like your music and everything like that. But I'll go about it a little bit of a different way where I know that you've mentioned like in other interviews, you started becoming aware of, or going to shows and stuff like that pretty early on, like 5th or 6th grade from what I can gather.
Yeah, I don't know how old I was, but maybe like 12, 13 years old is when I first started going to shows.
Yeah. And how did that happen? Because that's not like older siblings, like what, or did you just go to shows?
I just started going to shows with my cousin. She didn't really put me on, but I just remember liking like screamo bands. So
hell yeah.
It was like MySpace era, so I literally like searched up like, because they did like top 100 screamo bands, and then I just like cycled through everything until I found like a local screamo band, and then I was just like, oh, they're playing like at this venue next to my house, I'll go.
Okay.
And then after that, it was just kind of like, I'll go again and again and again.
Right. I have to ask, what was the local venue?
It was a venue called Pizza Patio in Fremont, California.
Okay, never heard that.
Yeah.
I've definitely personally played a show in Fremont before, but it was, oh my gosh, I can't remember the place, but played with, this will be a deep cut, Horse the Band there.
Okay.
And so, which I'm sure you're very intimately familiar with in the MySpace era. What was the local band that you saw at Pizza Patio?
Oh, dude, it was this band called Hiroshima, which I think was from like Hollister or something, like somewhere like without Sunami's very close to.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you what type of music they were.
No.
But I remember just being like hooked on like hardcore dancing, and then so I bought a shirt.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was neon, right?
It was like very bright red.
Right.
Yeah.
I just love, like, it's so funny to talk about that era because it's so specific, and anybody that tripped across it just brings back so many memories of like, oh yeah, I remember, Dr. Acula or whatever, just like many random bands.
There's so much ugly merch in my house, and I won't get rid of it.
No, why would you? Or side print shirts.
Yeah.
Remember that trend? Oh my gosh. It's anytime I see a shirt of that era, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got to put this away. Like, I'm never going to wear this again. Well, and so were you, like you said, you were attracted by the hardcore dancing and stuff like that?
It just felt like I had like a feeling of like, oh, this is something my mom doesn't want me to be at, so I'm down.
You're like, this is gonna bum my parents out. Like I talk, was your mom bummed out when you kind of brought that home, so to speak?
Dude, I legit had a conversation with my mom like a year ago.
Yep.
And she's like, I asked her like, did you think when I was going to this like it was a phase? And she's like, yeah. Like, I'm still fucking surprised you're doing this shit.
Right. She's like, and now you're going across, the U.S.
She's stoked. She like watches like a YouTube video and she's like sending it to me. So she's proud now, I guess.
Right. She's like, look what my son is doing. Yeah. Look at all these people beating each other up to my son's music. This is great. I'll jumping around here, but I know there is such a tight knit community, obviously around Northern California hardcore, real bass shit. Obviously, I don't even know. Being from Southern California, I've just kind of watched it from afar. I don't even know who came up with that statement.
Real bass shit?
Yes.
It's my friend Kenny who sang, because when Sunami started, it was like not a joke necessarily, but like a fun band.
Sure.
And it was Sunami. The first show would be Sunami, another band I'm in called Big Boy, which was also at the time a joke band. And then the third band was Kenny's band called Foghorn.
Okay.
And he kind of coined the term real bass shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you have those things that spring up around a scene and someone just says something stupid and then it sticks, but then people can't even like figure out where it's like, who actually said that first?
Yeah.
That's cool. I appreciate that. And because all the other people that I've spoken to kind of from that scene, whether it's like, Kat from Scal and other people, there is even though all of the cities, like you can't get more different than Santa Cruz and Fremont as an example.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody is so supportive of one another and putting each other on to like either touring together or whatever. Can you think of a real reason why, besides the fact that you're all just like super supportive of each other?
Well, like, it's hard to believe, but like just 4 years ago, like no one was going to like shows. No one gave us the time of day to listen to us.
Yep.
So like we would go to these shitty shows for like half my life.
Yep.
And I know like everyone just from like going to shows like forever.
Yep.
So like it got to the point like we'll just support our friends like literally no matter what, even if I don't like their music, just because there's nothing else going on.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you're playing to the same 20 people.
Yeah.
Like,
so you have to be their friends, you know.
yeah,
And
like,
it just came to the point like now where like our friends are actually doing cool stuff, which is awesome.
right. I mean, and that's truthfully what happens when you grow up a little bit, where it's like, oh, dude, your first. Like, I always laugh. Like this breaks my brain thinking about it, where it's like Davey Havoc from AFI. AFI is his first band.
Yeah.
And that breaks my brain because everybody needs to play in like at least 2 or 3 crappy bands.
Yeah.
To maybe get to a band that's like somewhat okay.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
And I'm sure, because I'm guessing, is Sunami your actual first band, or you probably played?
Oh, dude, this is probably like my 50th band.
50th?
Dude, I don't know. I didn't count.
Sure.
But my current lineup of bands that I'm in now is just absurd. So
Right.
I can't even imagine what I'm at.
Right. You can. And had you always had you sung, played drums, guitar, like had you done everything, or you just done?
I think I have done everything at one point.
Okay.
But this is like maybe my third band singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And I'm guessing you like
Dude,
that.
Dude, it's the worst part. Like I'd rather do literally anything else, but it's cool. I can't complain really.
No, I understand, but like that's maybe the part you feel like the least, or the role you least are least comfortable with.
Yeah, I would say that I'm a pretty shy guy. So this is like I feel like I'm put on the spot a lot. But
Right, like I'm doing with you right now.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, yeah, I know. This is what makes me feel very uncomfortable. But I guess because of that, do you would consider yourself like an introvert?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
But like this band straight up has like made me go out of my comfort zone for so long now that
Right.
I don't mind talking anymore, which is cool. It's like it's good for me on a personal like level. So
Absolutely.
It's cool.
Right. Like being able to because that's what so many people I know that I'm sure have asked you, where it's just like, oh, I know you, Joseph, like you yell in the hardcore band? Like,
Yeah.
Like if they know you personally, it probably doesn't make any sense to them.
Oh, not at all.
Right. And kind of on that topic too, with I presume, has your mom seen you play before, besides the videos and stuff like that?
She went to like one like really poppin' show that we played with Knock Loose in the Bay.
Yep.
And that was like, oh, he's a rock star now. Like, but she can't believe it.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's probably really excited about the fact that you're like, oh my gosh,
But
here's
you know,
him.
she always says like, oh, that's not my son. I don't know who that is.
This is a different person.
Yeah.
And so I know, I mean, being a straight edge individual, like once you started were you straight edge like as you started to like go out to shows and stuff like that, or was that something you adopted later?
When I first started going to shows,
Yeah.
I did not. I hardly say I experimented with stuff, but
Sure.
I was not straight edge. But I found like straight edge through hardcore for sure.
Right. And because of that, do you think your mom or your parents in general kind of let you, like once did you describe straight edge to them?
I did describe straight edge, and she's like, she had to actually study straight edge for like being a social worker for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think she understands like how serious it is for people. So she always like, she still says like, oh, don't do drugs when you go to play shows. Like she'll text me like on this tour, she's like, please don't do drugs.
You're like, Mom, I'm nailed to the axe.
Yeah.
That's so cute that she's checking in on you to be like, are you keeping your nose
Yeah.
clean, Joseph? Like, yeah. Something I also was really taken by, and I know the entire internet was taken by, was the the parking lot show that got put on, like at the what's the print shop? I'm totally blanking on the name. Or
Printhead.
there we go.
Yeah.
And that parking lot show with you guys, Scal, et cetera, like I think it personally, I know it made a lot of people pay attention on the national level, where it's like, what actually is happening in Northern California? Did you kind of feel that as that show was kind of going on, just as far as how many people showed up? Or?
Oh, dude, like I still can't like really grasp like what happened that day. It was just like perfect timing. Like people, that was like the first show for the most part for everyone.
Yep.
So I think people just wanted to go out. Like I truthfully don't think that we could recreate that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, because honestly, it was like 1,000 people there. I mean,
It was
whatever.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Right. And as you were kind of like seeing, more and more kids show up, was it like, did it feel like this is out of control? Like, I can't believe what we're doing here.
It was crazy because we knew we couldn't sell merch at the spot just because it would be hectic. So we did like a pop-up at the print shop, and we sold tickets to go there. It was only $5, and we realized that we sold like close to $2,000 at the pop-up, and we're like, oh dude, the show's actually gonna be crazy.
Right.
And it wasn't like legal, so we were very stressing.
Yeah. Wait, you mean a parking lot show is not legal? You guys didn't get the permit?
No,
in the city?
we did not.
Weird. I'm shocked. Yeah. And I'm sure that added the layer of like
stress. There was a lot
I
of
wish
stress.
people would stop showing up.
Yeah.
Right, because but the cops did not like.
No.
It's unbelievable.
It was cool.
Well, congratulations for not getting arrested
Yeah.
on that. Yeah. As you, I presume, would you say that Sunami is your first like real touring experience, or had you gone out with some of your previous bands? Like, I presume maybe just like out of city and stuff like that, maybe out of state.
I haven't done anything more than like 2 weeks at a time.
Okay.
But I've toured like a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
So because you're touring on a much more serious, not only national but international level as well. How are you reacting to tour, knowing that you're an introvert, knowing that there's a lot of people being like, can't wait to talk to you, want to say what's up, like, here we go. How are you kind of managing that yourself?
It's just like, I'm just trying to find a balance of like making people happy. So like being nice, like talking to people, but also a balance of hiding.
Right. You're like, I got to go to the van and decompress.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that haven't toured, especially if they aren't like, even if you're the most extroverted person possible, it's still exhausting to be like, oh, I gotta like, do like sell merch or whatever, all these things that you have to do, and then on top of it, play a show.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for sure. And I was doing merch for us for a long time, but now we have like our friend Danny doing it, and it's like a huge help for sure.
Right. Because usually the singer's responsibility is like, oh, because you got no equipment, now you got to sell merch.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that, like you were talking about, you played in whatever, a million bands, this has been like your most quote unquote successful band from that perspective. How do you deal with like the business application of it, where it's like, oh, we get paid money to play shows, and like that sometimes is an uncomfortable situation to be in? Like, do you like handling it? Is it uncomfortable, or are you just kind of like, well, I guess I got to do this?
It's for sure just like a learning process.
Yep.
It sucks. Because like I want to make everyone happy, like I want everyone to get paid and stuff like that, but also I don't know how long this will last, but we're chilling.
Right.
Yeah. We're gonna make it work.
Right. But the also on the sort of like music business side of things, with like record labels approaching you and just like people wanting you to do stuff, how are you balancing like those times you say yes versus no? Or is it just basically that's how you react? It's like, does this sound cool? Yeah. Or does this sound cool? No. Like,
we do everything DIY. Like this whole tour that we've done, we don't have like a manager or nothing like that.
Right.
And I think I'm gonna just say no to anything like professional like that, because I'm having the time of my life already.
Right.
And thinking about like the business side of it kind of does stress me out, and it kind of like makes it not fun.
Sure.
So anytime it makes it not fun, I'm just not down.
You're like, I am actively not going to pursue the not fun stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it is a real delicate balance, especially within hardcore and punk. Like, I remember it's like the early 2000s is when like booking agents and managers started to really be a thing.
Yeah.
And I know so many bands were like, I'll never have a manager because like they're going to tell me what to do. And it's like, not necessarily, but like there still is that element of like, they might bring you something that you're like, I don't want to do this, but I guess I have to.
Yeah.
And so I get what you're talking
about. I totally get like the pros and cons of each side.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, it's not right for us though.
I don't think it is.
Right. You also, just in looking at your merch here, you go deep with references in regards to like the shirts, where it's like you're doing a plutocracy and a bastard rip. Like,
yeah.
That's weird. Like
it's very weird for our genre of music, for sure.
Right. I presume that was like just something exciting for you to be like, hey, many kids are not even going to know these are rips. They're just going to be like, this is a cool.
I just like those bands personally, so like I'm stoked on it, and I like the artwork for that stuff.
Right.
So it's just like it looks cool, so I'm just going to use it.
You're like, whether a person knows it's a inspiration.
But the goal would obviously be like, hopefully someone does have enough interest to find out what the reference is from, so they could get put onto something that they might like.
Right. But
sometimes that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're just like, it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
Now we have a design that's pretty easy for us to put to put out. Considering that, you've started to play a lot of festivals around the country, and then I presume you've also attended a lot of festivals. People have those moments where it's like either attending and watching a band being like, oh, this is their coming out party, or whether it's like you're playing a fest and it's like, I can't believe how many people are here or whatever. When I say both of those things, like what kind of comes to your mind, either playing or obviously attending a fest and watching a band play?
To be honest, what you said right now, I don't think I really understood that.
It's fine. So, going to fests.
Yes.
You watch bands that feel like all of a sudden they're now going to be at a whole different level because there's so many people that watch them or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's that component, and then there's also the component of playing a fest like you've done. So, tell me a specific moment from like you watching a band at a festival popping off that you're like, I can't believe this, and then maybe the other side of the experience, you playing a fest that you couldn't even believe.
Yeah.
So many people are reacting to you.
Dude, in terms of me playing,
yep.
Not a fest, but we recently played like San Antonio. It was
sure.
like 1,250 people showed up or whatever. So it's a lot of people. It was basically a fest in itself, but a show.
Right.
But I like thinking of it, and all my band members are like, yo, that show was fucking awesome, dude.
Right.
But it was like seriously so much going on, and like so many people like stage diving and climbing on stuff. I was just like, yo, like, I don't know if I like this, dude. It was so much to take in.
Sure.
But it's like fucking awesome that people want to go crazy for us, which is cool.
Of course.
But like when that happens, I do not process it. Like
you're
straight
just
up.
Like, you're just like in survival mode.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo. But dude, I saw Spy play the same show.
Yep.
And it was probably the same reaction, but I was just like, dude, this is the biggest band in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
It's cool that's exactly the feeling I'm talking about, where it's like you watch either a band or a band that you're friends with have this experience, and you're just like, now I think people, whether or not they took them seriously before, whether it's like now people are going to really be put onto this band in ways that they weren't before.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and that's so cool to witness, and then I also experience with your friends too.
Yeah, totally.
But that's insane. Like over 1,000 people came to that's a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
The last thing I wanted to hit on was the idea that I've been asking this to all of the bands here because I think it's an age-old debate. Mm-hmm. And there's no wrong answer, so don't feel like you're going into a landmine or anything. Stage dives or sing-alongs, which is your either a personal preference from the way that people react to Sunami, or you as a person, where it's like, what do you like to participate in at shows?
I like participating in stage diving more.
Okay.
I think at this fest, it's very bad examples of it.
Understood.
Yeah, but if it's proper and it looks cool, I think it's the coolest thing to do.
It should. I know.
But also, I don't think there's possible to stage dive in like the current hardcore scene without good sing-alongs.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like one hand washes the other.
Exactly.
But and this is going to sound like pretty hyperbolic, but I do think that there's an element, like there's obviously athleticism in stage dives, but it's like straight up Olympic sport, high jumping stuff. It's like, that's what some stage dives are.
I think that's sick. Yeah, sometimes you just got to like send it, which is cool. Yeah.
Right, and you're just like, you watch a person do it and you're like, you're the most athletic person I've ever seen do that in my life. And like, you should, hopefully you're on like high school track or something. So, but for you participating in shows as
stage
a person,
diving.
Stage diving, for sure.
Yeah.
What about the flip side, where it's like, what do you want to inspire? I mean, whatever reaction to your band, I'm sure you're stoked on, but what do you want people to do to your music?
I think I want sing-alongs just because it looks so cool when there's no like pit space in front of me, when it's just a crowd of people, which is fucking awesome.
Right. And and especially for words that you have written, where you're like, you took the time to yell this back in my face, and that's, I'm sure, pretty overwhelming.
Oh, it's sick. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. I said that last question was the last one, but this one is where, because you've done, correct me if I'm wrong, you went over to Europe already, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That must have been like, talk to me about that experience, because I'm sure where it's like, listen, we're just some dumb band from Fremont playing in like, Germany or whatever.
Yeah.
What was your, what was the experience of you touring over there for the first time?
Dude, it's unreal. It's like, just traveling with your friends for absolutely no reason other than to play music is pretty trippy. But
Right.
it's cool. Like the shows were fucking awesome. It was just like playing a show at home.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the same, except it's even more difficult because there's a language barrier, I'm sure, in certain countries.
Yes. And the very different mannerisms, but it's a cool experience.
Right. Did people in Germany, I always like
They're-
very blunt.
So there is the Euro compliment or the Germany compliment.
Okay.
Which is very backhanded.
Absolutely.
But I told myself I'll do whatever I can this tour to not get it. So I did, and I was successful. So I didn't get any bad compliments.
That's good. The German compliment is very much like you said, where it's like, "Oh, Josef, Tsunami was really good last time. What happened this time?"
Yeah, exactly.
Or you look fat.
Yeah.
I've seen people where it's like, "Ooh, that's you're just gonna say that to them."
Yeah.
And you have to like sit there and absorb that. Be like, "Yeah, I ate more food this time. I'm sorry." Well, Josef, thank you for overcoming your fears
Yes.
of public speaking.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Give it up to Josef, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, I know you like merch, right? I love merch. Most people that attend these concerts and festivals and shows that we all go to love merch. And rockabilly.com is the place where you can order a bunch of cool stuff. Like they actually have an exclusive special edition t-shirt collection from Slipknot right now. But before you go to the website, I want you to take this promo code, which is 100 words or less, and that gets you 10% off of your entire order. And I don't care what you're into, whether you're like, yo, I like Foo Fighters, Beatles, like all this mainstream stuff down to, you know, some more aggressive metal. That's totally fine. Rockabilly has it all. Ships from the Midwest. Super friendly customer service if you ever have any issues, and all independently owned and operated. What makes it even cooler is the fact that they officially license all this stuff. This is all above the board. Bands get paid. You get cool merch. Everybody wins in this scenario. And so you can use the promo code 100 words or less for 10% off your entire order and have fun shopping on their site. Thank you for your continued support, Rockabilia. I love you. There we go. That was Josef from Sunami, and they're touring everywhere. They just got back from Australia, and yeah, they're over. I will be talking to Josef again on the Outbreak podcast in the next 2 weeks or so. So it's fun to be able to reconnect with people all over the world and be like, you know what? We're both from California, yet we've never interacted in California, and that's really funny. So anyways, thanks to Josef for doing that. And now we have Peter, the vocalist from Spy. If you are unfamiliar with Spy, get familiar immediately. They just released a new record on Triple B that is really, really good. It's just pissed off hardcore punk. I love it. So let's talk to Peter. Evilgreed.net is the website that you need to go to check out all of the awesome web stores they have. They are a web store solution provider for bands and record labels. And what does that mean to you? That means you, the consumer, you can order a bunch of stuff from this awesome website. And let me just list some of these labels and bands. But before I do that, I want to give you a promo code that gets you 10% off your entire order. 100 words, 10% off your entire order. And you can order so much cool stuff from Flat Spot Records, Metal Blade, Maggot Stomp, Sargent House, Relapse, Pure Noise. The list could go on, but basically anything that is heavy and or artistic, that's probably something that they traffic in. And they work very specifically in that universe. They don't just open it up to, you know, every band and record label known to us. They keep it very specific, and that is what I love about them. So go to evilgreed.net. They will ship it to you worldwide. And I know you're probably in the United States, you're like, dude, from Germany, like that's going to take forever. No, they ship it to you very fast. I've ordered from them before. They've got it to me, honestly, in around a week, and it's great. So please check out what they have to offer. It's really, really great stuff, and I wholeheartedly endorse them. Again, promo code 100 words, 10% off your entire order. Evilgreed.net. Have fun shopping.
And Peter from Spy happens to fall in that category. So, yeah, but thanks for coming. And we get to hang out, Peter.
All right. All right.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because obviously being the vocalist of a band, people that I've had on before like this, they're like gripping the microphone. It's like, you don't need to do that.
It's a shorter mic stand than I'm used to. Right. Do I need to just talk in here all the time?
That absolutely, you can do that. You can do whatever makes you feel comfortable. So this is not your first time playing Louisville, is it? Or is it your first time?
It is.
Okay.
It's our second time in Kentucky. We played last year in May in Lexington.
Oh, okay, cool. Not too far. I mean, Spy is one of those bands that's, for me, it's really interesting because, I mean, obviously you guys kind of launched during COVID when people were not playing shows, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's essentially when you guys started.
That's right.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm not.
First thing was released July 2020.
Right. And so it's interesting because releasing music in a time where you can't play live music, like we've never experienced that before. And it seemed to me that people really, really latched onto you guys relatively quickly, probably surprisingly quickly for you to be like, oh, like you really like this demo we put out on Bandcamp or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was just like that, super surprising, and obviously a very welcome surprise, but I think there was just like a void of new music at that time, so it was a good time for new bands to put shit out.
Right time, right place.
Yeah.
But I presume this is not your first band.
No. I've been doing bands since I was like 15, 16. So
right, all in the Northern California area, or have you been bopping
I lived
around?
in Vancouver, Canada, for a few years, and I did some shit out there. I did a power violence band out there called Split Open.
Okay.
We played for like 3 months, 4 months, and I like recorded our demo, and
sure.
Then I moved back to California and joined World Peace and started Spy. So
right. So World Peace and Spy kind of like World Peace technically existed obviously before Spy, and then. But I imagine it was interesting for you to put something out with Spy where it's like, oh, we can't even play shows, and then have people react to it maybe more quickly than anything you've ever done with bands, like playing shows.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
No, yeah, exactly. It was really weird to kind of skip the initial stage of being a band where you just play shows to nobody at first.
Right.
Because we didn't get to play a show for about a year. Like we put out music July 2020, and then we played our first show, I think June or July 2021. So there's like a whole year of just internet
existing
growth.
on the right.
Yeah. So by the time it was the first show, it was already like popping.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. Like the first show, was that one of those things that, were you prepared for that?
Not really. No. It was pretty crazy.
Sure.
Yeah. You like I said, you usually get some like runway to warm up with a new band where you play to nobody for a while.
Right.
And
You have the time to suck playing in front of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
But hopping right into it, playing to hell of people was weird because you can't. Well, I mean, we still did kind of suck, but you know, we.
You try to suck less.
We try to suck less. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the reason I'm so fascinated with it is because of that idea. Like I said, no other band. I mean, you do see bands that are like, all right, we're gonna put out a demo and practice for a year before we play our first show or whatever. But that's still really rare what you experience.
Yeah, no. Usually you get the whole playing to nobody thing. You know,
right.
It's just,
Yeah.
We skipped that phase, which is weird, but
sure,
it's cool though.
Yeah. The fact that so much is happening with Northern California hardcore, like real bass shit, all that stuff that people are obviously talking about now, is it like, I presume you feel privileged to be kind of a part of it and a part of a scene, or is it one of those things where you're just like, oh, it's cool that all of us happen to be hitting at the same time?
No, I definitely feel lucky to be a part of that. Without that, I don't think we would have attained the like early success that we did, because we kind of had the whole RBS thing already happening.
Right.
All like Tsunami, Scowl, and Drain and Gulch, all those bands were already like popping off when we started. So it was like people, I feel like, were more inclined to check out a new band from the Bay.
Right.
So we got lucky. And
it seems too that that scene, especially, I mean, all of those bands, like, they are incredibly supportive of one another, even though, I mean, yes, you're all hardcore bands, but like you guys sound nothing like Sunami, obviously.
Yeah. No, it's there's, I feel like every single Bay band kind of brings something different to the table. And yeah, even though there's like little like sonic overlap, there's the people who like all these bands generally like all of them.
Right,
you know?
yeah. It's not like I hate Drain. I like everybody else.
Everybody just likes everything. So it's kind of wild. We can go on tour with Sunami like right now, and you know they're playing the heaviest shit ever, and we're not. And people like both bands, which is really cool.
Yeah,
it's a really good period of time right now to be in a band and play shows because people seem to be more open-minded than they used to, and they're down for everything, especially the young kids. Shout out to the youth.
Yeah, shout out to exactly. Not old humans like me. I mean, we still provide some value, just not as much as kids that are 20 years old going to every single show.
They're the ones stage diving, so.
Right, exactly. My arms are crossed in the back, nodding my head at least. When you started to, you know, kind of exist in that like internet band, like there comes that idea where it's like this weird cult status where it's just like we don't know exactly like who Spy is. I mean, people did, like you weren't hiding, you weren't wearing masks or anything like that. But how did you kind of react to that attention once it started to be, you know, paid to you, where it was like, oh, like Peter's and Spy, and like, you know, I got to find him on Instagram. Like, you know, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't overwhelming, but it was still probably weird for you to adjust, or am I just blowing that out of proportion?
It's always, that shit's always a little bit weird. I mean, it's like, it's cool. I like that people like what we do and are enthusiastic about it, and I appreciate that. So I think about it in the most positive light, you know? Even though I'm like, oh, it's a little weird.
Right, you're like, I'm not that cool.
Nah, I'm just some fucking guy.
Right, you're like, I'm just some guy wearing my own band's hat.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm just, you know, I'm bringing it to the visual perspective, the audio medium. But that's no shots against that.
I just needed a hat.
It's okay. Yeah, you can totally wear your hat. When you start, I mean, I presume that you toured previously, like you said, with some of your other bands to a limited extent. When you started to get out there and play more shows, like, you know, doing West Coast runs, Midwest runs, whatever the case may be, what was surprising to you about touring? Or was it exactly what you expected?
I toured quite a bit when I was like 18, so I feel like I had already gotten that experience, but that was like 2011 or so. So
yeah,
I guess a lot has changed. It's only better now. I feel like it's better than ever.
Sure.
One thing that was surprising was the amount of people that would come out to shows. I feel like it's way more than pre-pandemic. There's just more enthusiasm than ever, seems like. So it's a great time.
Sure, yeah. You're going to ride that wave.
Yeah.
It also seems like the attitude that you and basically your entire band has is very much, we're surprised to be here, and we're just thankful that people are paying attention to you at all. And because of that, I mean, I'm guessing that's obviously like part of all of your collective personalities, where you're just like, wow, we didn't expect this, but we're glad we're here. Or is that just, I mean, not like you're being falsely modest or anything, but where does that, I guess, kind of come from? Is it just who you guys are?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, I don't think anybody expected any of this to happen. I don't think you can start a band and expect it to happen, because then you're just going to be disappointed most of the time. So, yeah, we're just stoked to be here and that people like what we do.
Sure.
You know, that's like
the basic thing.
I did not expect that at all. I thought this would be like a one demo, like house show, you know, side project that lasts for a few months, but
yeah, then that's it.
So,
right. The fact that you can go on full U.S. tours and go to Europe and all that sort of stuff, like, that's weird.
It's fucking awesome. I love it. It's great.
Right.
But yeah, it's certainly not at all what I had in mind.
Sure. Yeah. And so when you started to, you know, put those things together, as far as your, you know, getting shows, getting attention, like, not like you guys have to, you know, consider sort of like the business implications of the band, but, you know, like, you're getting paid to play shows and sell merch and stuff like that. How are you dealing with the business side of stuff? Is it something that you personally enjoy, or you're like, yo, stay far away from?
I don't like it at all, but I have to do it. So but I think it's like my least favorite part of all this, but it has to be dealt with, because it's like I gotta think about how much merch to make because I know that people want it, and it's gonna sell out, and I don't want people coming up and we don't have anything left. So yeah, it's like every day, all day, I just think about all that shit, and I do the emails and gotta do the taxes and everything, all the.
Oh damn! You're pro. You guys got an LLC and everything?
Well, no. I mean, it's just under my name. So if if the government looks, they're gonna be like, "Hey, why do you have all this money or whatever?" But it's not. I don't have it.
It's not me. Yeah. Have you guys not heard of Spy?
It's fucking split up amongst 5 people after we spend $1 million to print all the merch and buy gas and all that shit.
Yeah. Why do you feel like is it? I mean. I joke around about this because it usually that business stuff tends to fall on the singer's shoulders just because they're like the front person and the one that most people talk to after a show. Do you feel like that got put upon you, or is that just basically like, well, I can kind of do it? So
it's just that's from the start. Like I started this band, I wrote the first release, and it's just been like my
you got no choice
thing,
right.
But obviously the other guys are helping out in other ways. But
of course,
yeah. As far as that kind of stuff goes, it just feels natural.
Sure. Yeah, you're not gonna put this off to somebody else because you literally started it. Yeah. Speaking about Fest, because obviously we're here at LDB Fest. I'm gonna guess that your experience, like you've not only played a few festivals at this point, but you've attended festivals kind of across the country and maybe even world. When I put you on the spot and say like, what are some memorable Fest moments, either from Spy playing or either from you attending, where it was like, yo, that set was unbelievable? Like, when I bring that up, what kind of springs to your mind? It could be something stupid. Someone mentioned, and I don't say this is stupid, but like someone mentioned seeing E-Town Concrete for the first time in 2014. So I was like, that's cool. That's a cool experience.
I think the one that stands out for me is playing Sound and Fury last year.
Sure.
That was crazy. It was like 5,000 people there.
Yep.
I remember attending Sound and Fury a few years back, and it was like at the Regent Theater in LA, which is, I think that's what it's called. Way
you're right.
Smaller though.
Or it might have been at the Belasco.
No, I was the one.
It was at the Regent.
It was like when they came back for 2016.
Yep, that makes sense.
And it's just like seeing the scope of that fest change over time to get like massive where it's at now, and being able to like play that after attending, and like, you attend and you're like, damn, I would love to play this one day. I wish that I could play this. I wish I had a band that could play this. And then a few years later, it's like we're doing that shit and it's bigger than ever, and it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So that's the big one for me.
No, that's a cool moment.
That's some bucket list shit for me. So
of course.
Shout out Sound and Fury.
Of course, Sound and Fury. It's cool when you can have, especially too. And I know that like everybody that attends fests has this experience where they watch a band and they're like, oh, this is kind of their coming out moment, where it was like, everyone knows that this band is like, a lot of people care about it because they saw them at this fest or whatever. And so it's cool. I definitely think like, I know like you guys and Speed, whereas there's like those bands that tended to basically every S band name, Scowl, whoever.
Yeah.
But it feels like their moment of where it's like, oh, now these certain areas have paid attention to these bands, but now nationally speaking, people kind of get what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. The big one I thought last year was Speed. They like blew everybody away, and they're from Australia, so it's like, that's fucking awesome, It's
Totally.
really cool. It's cool to see that.
Yeah,
I really like watching them.
Right, and especially too, I think it almost happens in real time too, where certain bands, like after their first or second song, they kind of like look out to the crowd and they're just like, oh my god, like this is happening, like people are paying attention.
No, it's a cool thing to see for sure, especially like when we played it, I was like, damn, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if anybody's gonna watch. I don't know if anybody cares, and then people care and it feels good. So
sure. Do you when you play and when you have those kind of like big moments, are you conscious of it? Are you kind of like blacking out and then waking up after? Like where's your headspace?
Earlier on, it was more just like blacking out, so to speak.
Sure.
It's just I don't really would get a lot of like anxiety before playing in front of people, so I just would try to get through it and it's over. But now I feel like I'm a little more comfortable. I can like kind of look out and enjoy it a little more.
Right.
So that's cool.
Right.
It's nice to lose that anxiety a bit.
Sure. It's like that. I mean, nervous energy is good, but the ability like to be able to like look out in the crowd and like make eye contact with people and not be like, oh, I can't look at them. Like,
yeah. No, it's sick. Now I can like just enjoy all these people jumping off the stage and looking at that. Nothing makes me happier than watching people stage dive while we play. That shit's so fucking sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that actually ties very specifically into a question I was going to ask you. I've been asking people because I've been thinking about this recently and there's no wrong answer here, so don't feel like, I'm putting you in a corner, but your personal preference, sing-alongs or stage dives, and it can be either you as an attendee or obviously if you're talking about, people reacting to your band. Which do you prefer? I know it's a tough question, so again, no wrong answers.
Can I just say both?
You can. I'm not
I think
going to.
They're both great for different reasons, but I guess if I had to pick one, I'd still go with the stage dives.
Sure.
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing people soaring in the air just off the stage. Just the fucking best thing in the world. I remember like being younger and doing that shit when I weighed like 100 pounds, and that was sick too. Right. Now I feel kind of guilty doing it, but I'll still do it sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say
if it's like tight packed enough, and I don't feel like I'm gonna, land on somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like, do you are you a person that stage dives, like you said, less frequently now? But was that your preferred? Like, you were diving instead of maybe singing along, or
yeah, for sure the diving. Okay. Yeah, that was my favorite. Like, probably like the first time I ever did. I was probably like a teenager, like middle school time.
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
Warped Tour or something.
I was gonna say, what was the experience?
Yeah, that pretty much that. And just
who was playing though?
I don't remember.
Damn it. It's okay.
Like all the bands I liked at the time, probably just MySpace era bands.
Of course, MySpace core.
That's what was popping off when I was like 13.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everybody has to have an entry point. Yeah.
It's good times.
The last thing I'm going to hit you with is the when you specifically talking about scenes and like understanding that now, because music gets put out digitally most of the time and sometimes it's devoid of context. Like, people can listen to Spy and have no clue that you guys are from Northern California from the way that you sound or whatever. But as you start to kind of dip in and tour and play a part of these scenes, like, Louisville definitely has a very specific scene as far as people being generally supportive and that sort of stuff. What are other scenes that you maybe kind of compare to what's happening up in Northern California? Or if you guys are obviously so special, then that can be your answer. That's totally fine. But
obviously, shout out to the Bay, but outside of the Bay, I really like Denver. A lot of great bands in Denver.
Interesting. I haven't heard that like expressed that people enjoy Denver. Yeah,
there's a label out there, Convulse Records. Few of my favorite bands from out there are The Consequence, Direct Threat, Asbestos. These are bands that we've played with.
Sick.
And they're amazing, and they bring all the energy and all the best kind of energy. And yeah, shout out Denver. LA is really sick too. We always have good shows there.
Yep.
Texas we just played and was amazing. Great statewide scene in Texas. And yeah, New York, New Jersey, always great.
Sure. Yeah. Northeast area, yeah.
Basically everywhere. I love playing all across the U.S. Always, right. Everywhere brings something special. Midwest shows are amazing. There's always great smaller scenes in the Midwest, but like super active, and they'll pull up to any show. Cleveland's really good right now. Kansas City, Louisville.
Yeah, damn. No, those are, well, it's cool that you're able to see all of those different scenes. And I mean, especially too now going like the tour that you're currently on with Sunami. You guys are both bringing probably different people to the show, and you're getting this kind of combination of different scenes vibing out to what you guys are doing. And
yeah, it's awesome. It's been really fun.
Yeah, that's sick.
Stoked to keep going. Got a few more shows with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Peter, thank you very much for hanging out, and give it up for Peter.
Thanks for sticking around, y'all.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Here we go. Thank you very much to both Josef and Peter for coming on the show, and to all the people on the LDB Fest team for having me. It was a really fun experience, and every time I edit one of these episodes, I'm like, oh man, that was such a good time. So next week, I have a good old regular episode, a non-live chat. This one is with Brian Audley from Incendiary, who released potentially one of my favorite records of the year on Closed Casket Activities. But Brian, I've known for a while. We've been internet friends, and you've met a couple times in real life and said what's up at festivals and what have you. But a great guy, and I just wanted to have him because I've had Brendan, the vocalist, not only on a live episode, but then also had him on a regular chat many, many moons ago. But so I wanted to get a different angle, and I'll figure out, like, just definitively who is on the Mount Rushmore of Long Island hardcore. That's really important, right? I mean, it is to me, and I know it is to Brian as well. So that's what we got for you next week. Until then, please be safe, everybody.
I suffered from acne into my 30s. I had tried everything from pills and creams to painful treatments, and nothing seemed to work. Then a friend told me about Skin Laundry. She'd been getting their laser facials and said they were effective and did not require any downtime. So I decided to try it. My nurse made a plan to stop my breakouts and correct the discoloration I had. It's truly changed my skin and helped me regain my confidence.
Skin Laundry develops a personalized plan to get results. You can try your first Skin Laundry laser facial, including a free skincare consultation for only $75. Visit skinlaundry.com to see real client results and book your first facial today.
Finding a good movie can be harder than finding a sitter on date night.
Your kids? Yeah, right.
Prime Video has you covered with the hit movies on Prime like Air and Creed 3. Plus, you can rent or buy the latest new releases like John Wick Chapter 4 in one easy place. Look at that. Now you have more time to watch. Prime Video, the one app to unite them all. Restrictions apply. See Amazon.com/Amazon Prime for details.
Has your home been smelling a bit weird? Breathe easy with a Home Labs dehumidifier. They can remove up to 50 pints of moisture per day. Home Labs offers great features like pumps, easy-to-use control panels, and auto shutoff. They've got over 50,000 reviews on Amazon, and they're energy efficient and Energy Star rated. Check out Home Labs' full line of dehumidifiers at homelabs.com and use code IHEARTHOMELABS for extra savings. Home Labs. Welcome home.